The Tears of the Twins, a tale of Igbo tradition and triumph, in the heart of Igbo land, where the sun dipped into the horizon and painted the sky with hues of crimson and gold, there lived a young couple, Akua and Ike No. They were a loving pair, eagerly awaiting the arrival of their newborn twins. The villagers rejoiced at the news, but little did they know, their joy would soon turn to sorrow. In those days, the Igbo culture believed that twins were an abomination, a curse from the gods. The villagers feared that the twins would bring misfortune and destruction to their community. They believed that the twins were a result of the mother's infidelity, a notion that was deeply ingrained in their tradition. As Akua gave birth to the twins, a boy and a girl, the villagers gathered outside her hut, their faces filled with a mix of curiosity and contempt. The village elder, a wise and aged man named Ogbu Efi, was summoned to the scene. He examined the twins and declared, "These children are a curse, a taboo. They must be cast out, lest they bring ruin to our village." Akua and Ike No were devastated. They pleaded with the villagers to spare their children, but their cries fell on deaf ears. The villagers, fueled by superstition and fear, demanded that the twins be abandoned in the forest. As the sun began to set, Akua and Ike No were forced to make a heart-wrenching decision. They wrapped their twins in a small cloth and, with tears streaming down their faces, left them at the edge of the forest. Days turned into weeks, and the twins, whom Akua and Ike No had named Ogechi and Okori, were left to fend for themselves. They cried and wailed, their tiny voices echoing through the forest, but their parents were nowhere to be found. One fateful night, a wise and kind-hearted woman named Eneni Oma, who lived on the outskirts of the village, heard the twins' cries. She followed the sound and found Ogechi and Okori, cold, hungry, and trembling with fear. Eneni took them in, nursing them back to health and showering them with love and care. As the years passed, Ogechi and Okori grew strong and healthy, thanks to Eneni Oma's devotion. They became inseparable, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Eneni Oma taught them the ways of the world, and they learned to navigate the complexities of life. But despite their newfound happiness, the twins never forgot their parents, Akua and Ike No. They longed to be reunited with them, to feel the warmth of their love and the comfort of their presence. Years later, when the twins had grown into strong and confident young adults, they decided to return to their village. They were determined to confront the tradition that had cast them out and to reclaim their rightful place among their people. As they entered the village, they were met with a mixture of curiosity and hostility. But Ogechi and Okori stood tall, their heads held high, and their voices clear and strong. They told their story of how they had been abandoned, but not forgotten. They spoke of Neoma's love and kindness, and of their own resilience and determination. The villagers, moved by the twins' words, began to see them in a new light. They realized that the tradition that had cast them out was rooted in ignorance and fear. They saw that Ogechi and Okori were not a curse, but a blessing, a reminder of the power of love and redemption, and so the villagers welcomed the twins back into their community. Akua and Ikena, overjoyed to be reunited with their children, wept tears of happiness. Ogechi and Okori, finally, had found their place among their people. From that day forward, the Igbo tradition began to change. The villagers learned to accept and celebrate twins, rather than fearing and rejecting them. And Ogechi and Okori, the twins who had once been cast out, became a symbol of hope and acceptance, a reminder that love and kindness can overcome even the deeper-seated traditions. As the years went by, Ogechi and Okori grew into respected members of their community. They became leaders and advocates for change, using their experiences to educate and enlighten others. They worked tirelessly to break down the barriers of superstition and fear, and to build a more inclusive and compassionate society. And though they faced many challenges along the way, Ogechi and Okori remained steadfast in their commitment to creating a better world. They knew that they had been given a rare gift, the gift of life, and the gift of love, and they were determined to use it to make a difference. One day, Ogechi and Okori decided to visit the forest where they had been abandoned as babies. They walked hand in. As they walked through the forest, they came across a small clearing where they had been left as babies. They stood there in silence, taking in the memories of their past. Suddenly, Okori spoke up. Ogechi, do you remember what Neoma used to tell us, Ogechis? Yes, she used to say that we were special, that we had a purpose in life. Okori nodded. Yes, and I think I'm starting to understand what she meant. We were abandoned, but we were not forgotten. We were given a second chance at life, and we must use it to make a difference. Ojeki smiled. You're right, brother. We have a responsibility to use our experiences to help others. We must be the change we want to see in the world. And with that, the twins made a pact to dedicate their lives to helping others. They returned to their village and began working with the villagers to break down the barriers of superstition and fear. They started a school for children, where they taught them about the importance of acceptance and inclusion. They also started a community center, where people could come together and share their stories. As the years went by, the villagers began to see the twins in a new light. They realized that Ojeki and Okori were not a curse, but a blessing. They were a reminder that everyone deserves a second chance, and that love and kindness can overcome even the deeper-seated traditions. And so, the twins lived happily ever after, surrounded by the people they loved. They knew that they had been given a rare gift, the gift of life, and the gift of love, and they were determined to use it to make a difference. The story of Ojeki and Okori spread throughout the land, inspiring others to stand up against injustice and to fight for what is right. Though the twins faced many challenges along the way, they remained steadfast in their commitment to creating a better world. Years later, when Ojeki and Okori were old men, they sat on their porch, watching the sunset. They held hands, and Okori turned to Ogechi and said, "Brother, do you remember that day in the forest?" Ogechi smiled. "How could I forget? It was the day we found our purpose in life." Okori nodded. "Yes, and it was the day we realized that we were not alone. We had each other, and we had the love and support of our community." And with that, the twins sat in silence, watching the sunset, and remembering the journey that had brought them to where they were today. The story of Ogechi and Okori is a reminder that everyone deserves a second chance, and that love and kindness can overcome even the deeper-seated traditions. It is a story of hope and redemption, and a testament to the power of the human spirit.